Here we are at the Shady Rest Gardens in northwest Georgia, Cassville. It's April the 14th, and it rained last night, and some things are getting knocked off. Some things have run their course, and that's a dogwood, and that's a Japanese maple, and those are hemlocks, two of them, which are not native to North Georgia, to Cassville, but they're doing pretty well. And this is our street, Northwoods Drive. The daylilies are not blooming yet, but Japanese azaleas and the native azaleas are blooming. And there's not much right here, but those Japanese azaleas, some of them are blooming and some have not yet bloomed. As I said, today is April the 14th because Friday the 13th came on Wednesday this year. There's some Japanese azaleas that we got, painted at Cuba. And there's our front door. Some more Japanese azaleas in the back. We got some of them for 25 cents a piece. We didn't know what color they were, but they bloomed in our wood-heated garage. These are native azaleas, pink in color. And behind them is a dogwood that is blooming pink and has bloomed always. And that Japanese azalea is past its prime. They bloom at different times. And there goes Doris. She's the brains of this outfit. She plants everything and decides where they're going to be planted. And here is an iris, purple in color, obviously. And there's some more irises. They bloom once again at different times, which is good, so everything's not blooming at the same time. And there's some more Japanese azaleas, pink and dark pink. Some more irises. And this is a white money plant. I do not know what the scientific name. Most of them bloom purple, but there are some that bloom white. We don't have nearly as many that bloom white. Here's some more Japanese azaleas that are just now coming into bloom. I guess you'd call them salmon colored. And here's some red berries of nandinas. And here's some purple money plants. It's not coral bells, I forget what that's called. Those are Japanese azaleas. More of them. I don't know what those 3 blooms are for. And purple are right there. I mean, they're Japanese azaleas, but I don't know why they're blooming purple, but I see some more. They're right there. Amongst the pink are some purple blooms. I don't know. And here's some white Japanese azaleas down through there. And here's some pink ones. Dark pink and light pink. More colors. Milo, you want to get in this picture? Yep, there's Milo. Yeah, he's been here about a year. There's some more Japanese maples. Some more hemlocks back there. And right here we have our first native azalea. Well, it's not the first one of the year, but it's the first one we've run across. And it's sort of orange in color. I like orange. More nandinas. We got nandinas and Japanese maples everywhere. Here's a pink native azalea. And it's just about done. And there's a grandiflora magnolia that I transplanted years and years ago. Some more nandinas. Some more Japanese, white Japanese azaleas. There's our cabin down there. There's One-Eye Willie, because the other eye fell off. One-Eye Willie is a Tim Harrington introduction. Maybe up for the stout this year. There's some more of our cabin. And that's a Deodora cedar. And it's probably 40 feet or more high. Yeah. And it was 5 feet high. Most of the camellias are done for the season. They bloom in December, January, February, and I guess March and April too. Some more Japanese azaleas, maybe George Tabor's. A couple of different Japanese maples. Some more Japanese azaleas. Here's some hostas. We're getting more and more shade, even though we get more and more trees cut. But hostas will grow in the shade, and they like the shade. Here's some rock work that Doris has done, as well as daylilies. And there goes a rabbit. Here's another Japanese maple. Here's some clematis. That native azalea is just about finished. And there's one in the back of the east side of the cabin that's orange and just blooming, and the yellow ones have not bloomed yet. And there's the cabin. Here's some more azaleas. I'm sorry, daylilies. And there's our little pond right there. We hadn't turned up our water levels yet, but we will. There's some more Japanese maples. Maybe they're blood good, I don't know. And I think this is a Swedish hemlock. Right now we're getting to some native azaleas that are just starting to bloom. Whether they're red or white or yellow or orange, they are blooming. Yeah, Milo's talking. Yeah. Yup. We had lots of seedlings from native azaleas come up in the last year. And we've transplanted some of them. Well, actually we put them in pots to give them to people in our club, or sell them to raise money for our club, actually. And there's lots of native azaleas that we got from Athens, Georgia. We bought them years ago, and they're mostly doing very well. And there's a pink one that's very common. There's a white one that's not so common. There's a Japanese azalea and a Japanese maple. More Japanese maple seedlings. Got a bunch of them. There's several Japanese azaleas and something I can't recall what the name is. Here's a variegated holly. There's what we used to call a snowball bush. Blooms pretty profusely. Another Japanese maple. I'm sorry, azalea, native azalea. And that one has not bloomed yet. That orange one, pink one has. But the orange one is going to. And this is the first native azalea that blooms every year. And it's pretty much finished. We're going to get one. Yeah. One yellow and orange bloom right there. And there's that snowball bush. I wonder why they call it snowball. I think I know. And that's, we're walking by another Japanese maple. And there's another hemlock. And that's a baby's breath. There's another name for it. I don't know what it is. And that's a Japanese azalea, and there's another one. And I really like these white ones, and they just have started blooming. They hadn't hit peak yet. Of course, I know it's raining. few of these white ones. But here's some pink one. Here's some Japanese Azaleas. Lots of them. We are looking at, those are little ones, little name cultivars. These are all seedlings. Been putting out sprinklers, even though it's sprinkling right now. These are all seedlings that haven't been selected. These are brand new seedlings, planted last September, October. And those are 2 years old, year and a half, whatever you want to call it. And these are probably 2.5 years old. Hope to get something out of them. And I gave away a bunch of these last summer that I thought were real good, but got to make room for more. Cut those up Monday. There's Milo again. We eat with wood. That's blue woodland phlox. Blooming. There's our well. Doors covered all these walls with rock work, veneer of these rocks. These are about 75 feet long and 3.5, 4 feet long, or high. And here's another Japanese maple. She built 5 of these, well, she covered 5 of these walls a couple of years ago. That is a weeping yaupon tree that we transplanted. We've got one in front of our house. You may have seen it earlier. Here's some more hemlocks. Here's some more Japanese maples. That used to be Daylily Hill, Red Turner seedlings, and now it's Hostas Hill because the trees grew up too tall. And down there we see a native azalea. Another hemlock. Another Japanese maple. Another camellia. Another native azalea that's past its peak. Maybe you can hear the big pond waterfall coming down. Another hemlock. The big pond is not doing so great today, but here is a Japanese azalea. Two more Deodora cedars.